Donna Johdan. Okay,
I got turtle doves in the room.
You're a dick. How quickly you forget that you had to put up with this on a daily basis. Right?
That's right.
Welcome to AT Banter, the podcast where we discuss anything and everything regarding the world of assistive technology. With our hosts, Steve Barkley, Rob Minot, and Ryan Fleury. Now, let's banter.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of AT Banter. I am Rob Minot, and today I'm joined by Ryan Fleury doing his favorite bird impressions, and Steve Barkley, who is not doing any sort of an impression.
He's a mime.
Yes,
He's walking against the wind, everybody.
help me, I'm trapped in a box. I'm trapped in a box. There's a big invisible box around me.
What's in the box? Yeah, so here we are, together again. It's another week.
It is another week.
How's everybody's week?
It's getting better. The sun's out.
Yeah.
Supposed to be warm on Thursday.
Yeah,
Finally.
I'm so looking forward to that. I was so happy when I woke up this morning and it was blue skies.
Finally drying up.
It's probably why I'm in such a good mood today.
I hear, rumor has it, that we may get 23 degrees on Thursday.
I know. It's going to be shorts and t-shirt weather.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Americans down south are thinking, that better not be Fahrenheit. It's not, guys. It's not.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, that'll be so nice.
Mm-hmm.
I might have to break out my bike for a ride.
Yeah. That's like what? That's 75, 78 Fahrenheit?
I just hope that means it's not going to be super hot this summer.
Well, it is supposed to be, I think, longer and hotter than normal.
Really?
Fabulous. Get that avocado started outside. Telling you, global warming, I'm totally into it.
It's not a real thing.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I don't care what it is as long as I get to grow avocado before I die.
Well, pretty soon we'll be growing pineapples in our yard.
Yeah, well, pretty soon you're going to see a polar bear swimming past your living room window, so that's going to be something.
Hey, come here. Come on the show.
It's like,
well, we certainly have a fantabulous show today, huh?
We do indeed.
Ryan.
We've got an extra special guest.
Yeah, Ryan, why don't you tell us, well, tell everybody who we have today.
Today we have superstar Donna Johdan joining us.
Yeah, reading her bio, it's ridiculous. She is such a busy lady, and we're really thrilled that she actually made the time to actually talk to the three of us.
Given what she does, I don't know when she finds time to breathe.
Yeah, that'll definitely be a question. But before we do, let's talk email.
We got an email.
We did get an email.
We did get an email.
It was very exciting.
We need an email sound now. We're getting email.
You've got mail.
That's right.
Okay, so Steve, why don't you read everybody our lovely email?
Okay, so we got an email from Bev Powell. Bev is a listener who uses a Victor stream to listen to us. Say hi to Bev, guys.
Hi, Bev. Thanks for listening.
Hello.
And Bev was good to point out that he is a dude from Strathroy, Ontario, because we might have made that mistake.
Never heard of it, but woo!
So his letter goes, I listened to AT Banter on my Victor stream and enjoyed the enthusiasm and topics. Well, mostly the enthusiasm, I think.
Yeah, that 9 o'clock one wasn't, anyways.
Particularly since it is Canadian. Oh, Canada.
Hey.
I recently upgraded from Windows 7 to Windows 10 and find the transition difficult. Yes, no doubt it is weird.
Yep.
I am 75 and totally blind and a JAWS user. My command of JAWS is fairly limited as what I know suits my needs. That's what we all do. My question is, do you know of a print book or website which is simple and straightforward that will explain Windows 10 to me? My wife is very good at reading print material. I'm particularly interested in keyboard commands. I purchased a Windows 10 for Dummies, and there doesn't seem to be any accessibility info contained therein. We're having difficulty finding any info on Narrator. I've given myself another challenge, and that is learning a new Bluetooth keyboard in conjunction with my iPhone. It's a good job I know how to touch type. Look forward to hearing from you. You can use my email on air if it suits your message. All right. Well, we did. There you go. Thank you.
Too late.
Yeah.
Well, I do have to say the key to his success or your success, Bev, is you have a good wife who is patient and willing to read to you.
What, your wife doesn't read to you, Ryan?
Unless I take her out for dinners.
Oh, well, maybe.
It's all about dinner.
Maybe you'd better take her out for a friggin' dinner.
It's time.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I pitched that one out to my LinkedIn account just to see what people had to say on that one, and I got a grand total of one result back from Attilio Puglisi, who used to be the AT guy or the not AT guy, the IT guy for Aroga. And incidentally, if any of you need somebody to handle managed services for you, Attilio is your guy. We can hook you up. So he came back and he said, hey, there's a pretty good list of Windows 10 keyboard shortcuts on gizmodo.com/the ultimate guide to Windows 10 keyboard shortcuts - a whole big long number. So we'll post that link up there. I had a look at it actually, and yeah, it's a pretty good list of shortcut keys, and I learned a bunch just scrolling through. There's stuff for Cortana. There's stuff for snapping your screens around, opening up virtual desktops.
It sounds very similar. I think that's the one I actually copied the text from, and one of the attachments I had sent to Bev.
Yeah. So we'll post that up, and we'll post up the other ones. You found a couple, right?
Yeah.
What's that?
You found a couple of things?
I did. Yeah, I sent him a couple of attachments. One I think is from the ultimate guide there that you have, and one was also specifically just narrator commands in Windows 10 Creators Update.
Yeah, and I took a bit of a spin around too. I used my Google Foo and did some searching and found a few books, a grand total of one actually, specifically about Windows and accessibility. Mm-hmm. Not a heck of a lot, and that therein I think is kind of what's I think where Microsoft has now fallen a little bit short, and it might be unfair to necessarily throw this on Microsoft's shoulders, but I mean, he's absolutely right. There's not a lot of documentation, and there's not a lot of books that surround the accessibility features, and that's something that Microsoft's going to need to address. I mean, now that they've added all these accessibility features into Windows, there really isn't a good central location to go to find out more about it.
Well, there probably is. We probably just don't know where it is.
Well, I mean, certainly.
But if it's hard for us to find it, it's hard for everybody to find it. So
right, and yeah, I mean, we did have Megan on a few weeks back, and and she certainly gave us links. But to the general public, those links those are going to be very hard to find. You really have to dig around for them, and somebody who's visually impaired, they're not going to be able to navigate those pages very well. So, that's something that they may have to look at, and it could be that now that these accessibility features are a lot more prominent, maybe we will see more books based on that. But in any case, I mean, I did find a few books on accessibility and a few books that were geared towards seniors and Windows. Mm-hmm. So we'll post those as well in the show notes. So anybody out there who's in the same boat or is interested, just go to atbanter.com and check out the show notes for this week's episode, and everything will be there.
Excellent.
And meanwhile, somebody should get in touch with the guys who write those dummies books and say, hey, you should do a accessibility for dummies.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, actually, I don't think it's one set of authors that do. I think anybody can do it. We should just write it.
There
what the heck?
Yeah, okay, cut that part out. Shh.
Yeah, forget it. Never mind. We got it under control.
Okay, Rob's going to have a book out by the end of the month.
Yeah, that's right.
If there's any three people that were more qualified to write a book called with dummies in the title, it's us.
You can self-publish on Amazon, too.
Well, there you go,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Perfect. Here's another article that sort of annoyed me this week that I saw. I noticed in my Twitter feed there was an article that was posted, I believe, in a Seattle news station posted it about people who are dressing their dogs up as service dogs, even though they are not service dogs. So that they can take them into like grocery stores and take them into the malls and stuff, and they'll put the little vest on and then walk them around. I had not heard of this. Apparently it's not a new phenomenon, but wow, talk about scummy.
Yeah, no kidding, right? I mean, anybody who would fake a service dog just so they can take their dog in the store is a bit of a douche.
Yep, absolutely. Big time. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever seen a poodle service dog, but I guess maybe they exist.
Yeah,
Gary Steves had one.
Yeah,
really.
Albert Ruel had one. Yeah,
Like a big poodle.
Yep.
Standard poodle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
They're using guide horses in some countries too.
Now, I mean, do they have any sort of are different breeds better? Like I can't imagine a bulldog service dog.
Daisy is never going to be a service dog.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, certain breeds do take to it better. A lot of the reason why they use different animals for different people is for size purposes. You know, you wouldn't see typically a very small lady with a guide horse, but although I shouldn't say that because I've actually seen a very small lady with a guide horse.
Wow.
Yeah, there's different animals that can be trained for the purpose. Potentially you could have guide pigs.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be entertaining as hell.
That would be.
But certain breeds of dogs are good for the job, and certain ones are not really temperamentally suited to it.
That's right.
Right. I mean, sort of like a beagle or something. You're not going to get it because those are pretty high strung, I think.
Yeah, I've seen a guide Doberman Pinscher.
Really?
That tried to attack every other dog that it ran across.
Yeah, I can't see.
It was a little high strung, that one. Very poorly socialized, and I was told it was an excellent guide dog, unless it ran into another dog, in which case it was a ferocious hell beast.
Wow. Yeah, but most of them are Labradors, Retrievers,
Shepherds, right? Yeah.
Poodles.
Yeah, they use the poodles because they're
non-allergenic
or less allergenic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Huh.
And of course, different crossbreeds, Labradoodles. And,
right.
I've seen Vizslas. We're missing one. Oh, Retrievers. We're missing Retrievers. So those are the common ones.
Right. But still, I mean, that's so aggravating, though. I can't, like, that's worse than parking in. It's one thing to park in a handicapped parking spot, but...
Which in and of itself is a douchey thing to do.
Yep.
All right. I got a corny one Google Home told me today.
Okay.
Go.
How did the vacuum cleaner die? It bit the dust.
Oh, Alexa.
That was Google.
Oh,
That
Google.
was Google Home, yeah.
So you still how often? So how often are you using the Google Home or the
Every day.
Alexa? Do you?
Every day.
Do you use both these days, or
Yeah.
you really?
Yep.
Why do you just have them in different rooms? Like, how's your setup?
I've got they're in the living room. The Google Home, Linda and I can sit and play trivia some nights together.
Right.
I've got my Google Calendar on my Google Home, so I can say what's going on this week, and it'll tell me.
Nice.
Alexa, I use more for Spotify because it has Bluetooth, and I've got it paired to my speaker bar.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Cool. So you're pretty happy a couple months out still with your purchases?
Yeah, I am. More and more they're doing more integration with home automation, lights and locks and that sort of stuff. Google's starting to catch up. But,
yep.
Alexa's got, over 10,000 skills now. And I just know, at what point do you limit yourself to the top 5 or 10 you're going to use so that you can remember how to use them?
Right.
There's so many different key phrases to use, and anybody can write a skill for Alexa. So I only use it mainly for Spotify.
Interesting.
Yep. And my daily news.
Let's see what else is in the news. We got a provincial election coming up.
We do.
Yeah, I think I'm going to
heating up.
I think I'm going to vote early.
Yeah, we're going to vote on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm probably going to vote early too.
Yeah, I think I'm going to vote on Thursday.
Might do it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Especially now that I just read today that the Liberals it sounds like it's going to be actually close, which is surprising to me.
Well, look what happened 4 years ago. Everybody thought, oh, NDP, and boom, Liberals won again.
Yeah.
So you don't know.
I don't know. It's going to be a real shame if they win.
Well, I keep saying it, but Every time somebody votes green, it's a vote for the Liberals because they're taking support away from the NDP. And people disagree with me on that. They say, no, the Green takes votes away from the Liberals. But no, really, they generally don't. It's generally a choice between Green and NDP for most people.
Of course. No one's out there going like, oh, should I vote Liberal or should I vote Green? Like, who? No.
I don't know. But
I don't know. That just goes to show you, man. Trump can happen anywhere.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to happen here again. I think the Liberals will get in.
Really?
Yeah.
That's your prediction, eh?
Yeah. I hear too many people saying, oh, I'm voting Green this time. I don't care. Okay.
Those idiots.
Make your bed, you lie in it.
Yeah. Have fun. Enjoy some more Christy Clark.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys ready?
Yep.
I need to come for your chairs.
Yeah, you do, actually. We need
You suck.
chair pillows. Donna Johdan is a special needs consultant. She's an accessibility advocate. She's certified with Microsoft and Novell. She's got a master's degree in international business and finance from McGill University. She's a blogger, she's a podcaster, and she's an author. And she has also successfully sued the Canadian government for not having an accessible website. She's been named the Unsung Hero by the Alliance for Equality of Blind Canadians in 2008, and just recently was named Person of the Year in White Cane Week 2017.
And can you believe she actually has time for us?
That's hard to believe. And she's made time for us.
But sleep is right out.
That's right. Good evening, Donna. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing just lovely.
Thanks so much for taking the time out and joining us, because we know from reading your bio, you are a very busy lady.
Well, I try to be busy, and I do want to thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
So my number one question right off the top is, when do you sleep?
Well, I go to bed, I'm not telling any tales out of school. I go to bed at around 8 at night, and I'm up by 3 in the morning because I got to send stuff to my clients in Britain. And, I've gotten used to this kind of thing, but I wish I could just slow down one of these days soon.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to slow down, you probably shouldn't be learning knitting and pottery.
This is very true. I'm starting to let go of a few things. Trying to enjoy myself even a bit more,
Jeez.
Excellent.
Well, and it's funny, we talk about questions, and I don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
Where to start?
Where do you want to start?
Anywhere you want to start.
Okay, let's start at the beginning.
You want, and I'll do my best to answer.
Well, you've got all these different pokers in the fire here. I mean, you've got Barrier Free Canada, you've got your podcast, you've got your writing, you've got your advocacy work. I don't know, what takes up the most of your time these days? What's your number one project?
Well, I am fully involved in trying to keep my own company alive. It's an entrepreneurship company.
And that's Sterling Creations, right?
Correct. And I'm trying to sort of wind down on Sterling Creations a bit because I've found something that really interests me, and that is trying to promote dinner mystery evenings, and I put it under Sterling Creations, but I'm trying to wind down what I do, that would stop me from waking up at 3 in the morning, for example. And then there's the Barrier Free Canada initiative, and after that, God knows what else. But I'm really trying, I really am.
Well, let's start with Sterling Creations and just tell us a little bit about it and when it started and what you do there.
So it started because I used to work for the Royal Bank, and one day, this was at the downtown offices, one day I was minding my own business at Union Station and standing against a wall waiting for the subway, and I was picked up by somebody, and next thing I knew I was in mid-air going towards the platform's edge. Ooh. I screamed, and in those days I had enough vision to see the yellow line coming up real quick.
Wow.
So I screamed and I kicked him, and others chased him, never got him. I quit my job then. That was back in 1998. And after getting myself back together, I started Sterling Creations in 2000. And we started with doing accessibility testing and writing and research. And that went really well for a few years. And then I started to get a bit bored
Right.
because I was getting tired of writing articles and blogs for people. And so I decided to go into audio mystery writing, which I've always wanted to do. And it just took off. Like, I started to sell my audio mysteries, and soon I was promoting and hosting dinner mystery evenings. So this is what I do for Sterling Creations right now.
So all those posts I see that you put up on Facebook, because I follow you, are those all books that you've written or books that you're reviewing?
Both.
Okay.
The books that, well, I promote other authors for one thing, and I write my own books as well, and my own audio mysteries.
And that sort of dovetails into your podcast, because you're also a very active podcaster. Tell us about the podcast.
Okay, so the podcast is called Take Another 5. We're now in the process of moving it to YouTube because we think that we're going to be getting a bigger audience there. And it's really like 5 segments. The first segment is recipes. The second segment is talking about various apps. Segment 3 is articles that are meant to help people around the house, like how to do your tasks more efficiently. Number 4 is called In the End Zone with the Entrepreneur. That has to do with me sharing my experiences as an entrepreneur with others. And segment 5 is talking about scams that people can look out for and how to avoid bullies and bullying. So that's what it's all about.
Now, I know that you're also very active in anti-bullying campaigns as well. Tell us a little bit about that and how that came about.
It came about because as a child, I was, believe it or not, very shy and very inward. And I was bullied as a child, like by my own fellow, own classmates who were also vision impaired. And then as I grew older and I left home and everything, the bullying continued in different ways. And then I kind of thought, what? Vision impaired people are very susceptible to bullying, and they don't really realize it or they don't really know it. And I thought, what? I'd like to help in whatever way I can. And I developed my anti-bullying campaign, and I'd like to put more effort into it someday soon. I don't think I've done enough as far as making presentations on, what to look for and how to avoid it. So that is just one of my pet peeves as an author that it's an offshoot of what I do. And I honestly feel that helping to promote more social evenings where people are more amenable to, getting together socially will help people to get to know each other and understand each other. Because I think this is what is missing when it comes to why people bully each other. So that's sort of another passion of mine.
Excellent. We'll have to have you out here to debate with this woman who every year runs for the school board in Burnaby, a lady named Sylvia, and she writes these missives that she then delivers all over the area that I live in. She puts them in everybody's mailbox, and one of them was that we had to stop anti-bullying campaigns in Burnaby because some of these kids could really use some bullying.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, that was actually part of her her official plan, was to get rid of anti-bullying campaigns, largely because gay kids needed it bullied out of them.
Oh, man alive.
She's a treat.
There's a whole podcast there.
Well, there's another
Yeah, let's
story
have
to
her
write.
on.
Oh my God, I'd like to talk to her.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, let's.
No, you really wouldn't.
Or
Wow,
maybe not.
That's terrible.
Wow.
I had an email exchange with her where she threatened to come to my office, and
Really?
What?
yeah.
Really?
Oh my
Should
Lord.
take her up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steve's fist fighting with some woman in the lobby. I don't know.
And losing.
Yeah, that's right.
Write a blog about that.
Oh yeah, she ran
Fist
for
fighting.
Burnaby City Hall too, and part of her campaign was to make public displays of affection illegal.
Really?
Yeah, she didn't like people hugging in public.
Who is this lady?
I don't want to say her name on the podcast. But,
Yeah, she'll come after us.
Yeah, her name's Sylvia, and yeah, she's a treat.
And she's never won. Thankfully.
No, she has never won.
Well, no wonder she's never won. Oh my God.
Well, here the upside is that it sounds like she has a very miserable life in general.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Quite possibly.
I think karma takes care of that.
Yeah, maybe.
But it won't stop her from continuing to try, right?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, well, talking about karma, let's talk a little bit about
Culture Club?
About what?
Culture Club.
80s reference.
Karma Chameleon.
Okay, no. Thanks, Ryan.
No problem.
You derailed me. Thank goodness for editing. Okay, no. Speaking of karma, let's talk a little bit about this other fairly large feather in your cap, which is the 6-year legal battle that you had with the Canadian government.
When I got into it at the beginning, like, telling you the truth, I had no idea it was going to go that far. I was just so darn frustrated because I applied for a job with Statistics Canada, and they changed the whole criteria on me. Like, what the criteria for evaluating applicants was this. The first thing they did was interview, and then they checked your credentials. In my case, they flipped the process around, and they said it was too costly to give me an exam in Braille, and on they went about other things. And finally, one day they phoned and they said, you can never work for StatsCan. You will never work. And I thought, enough is enough, so it's time to do something about it. So then I went and I tried to apply for online, tried to apply to through their online process for a job, and it was totally inaccessible. And I thought, well, time to do something. And I approached David Baker, well-known human rights lawyer here in Toronto, and he said, yeah, you have a charter challenge case here. And so the rest is history. I mean, it took 6 years to do it, but at first nobody wanted to really listen to what I had to say. Like, you had people like the CCD saying, go away, we don't want to hear from you, you're going to fail with this. And then CEO of the CNIB said the same thing. Don't involve us in anything you're doing because you're not going to succeed.
Wow.
But then, people started believing when they saw that we were serious, and we took the government to court. And the government, they said, we promise we will do this. And I said, promises are not enough. You got to do it. And they gave the usual personal attacks and everything like that. But it had to be done, and you think of it, I think of it this way. I'm not doing it for me alone. I'm doing it for the kids of the future because someone did it for me. And this is what drove me through this entire journey. And when we won round one in, I think it was 2010 or 2011, I can't remember now, 2010. Then people started believing that, something could be done. And then they all started flocking towards me. And I thought, yeah, right. And 3 organizations sought intervention status because the government appealed the first decision. So we had to go to the Court of Appeal. Well, the CNIB did not gain intervention status. Neither did the CCD, but the AEBC did. And then we went to the Court of Appeal and they lost again. And then they decided to drop the whole thing and we won our case.
Wow. And so it must be really rewarding looking around at the landscape now where it has changed the landscape. Now it's very rare to have something that's not accessible, we federal.
Well, there's a lot of work still to be done, but I kind of figure we got to keep up the pressure. And,
Sure.
we had a meeting with Minister Qualtrough this afternoon, and one of the things I said to her is that, yeah, we're waiting on your reports now, but in the meantime, we got to keep people interested, because if we don't, it's going to die on the table. So we got to keep. It's never going to end. I don't think it will. But one of these days, I'm going to say, hey, give it to somebody else. Let them keep going.
Right. Well, how's your feeling? Like, do you feel like progress has been made, or do you feel pretty sort of vindicated, or do you just kind of look at that, what improvements can still be made, and focus on that?
I look at what improvements need to be made. I think improvements will always need to be made, and it's not what you ask for, it's how you ask for it. And sometimes, you get bullied by organizations like the Greater Toronto Airport Authority. They have a lot of deep pockets, and they think, well, they can use their money to scare you. But, if you look at it this way and you say, you know what, I've done it before, I can do it again. Let me get some people to work with me on this. It becomes easier, but it's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, I imagine it's quite a process to go through that.
Yeah.
Oh, 6 years is a long time.
Yeah, you got to be committed. Or you ought to be, one or the other.
Well, it's either I'm crazy or maybe a bit sane or somewhere in between. But, it's nice when you get people believing. You're going to get the odd person who's going to say, so what? But it's what you believe in is the important thing.
Now, you also have a blog. Tell us a little bit about what you talk about on the blog.
It's more of a personal thing on the blog. It's like from my personal diary. I talk about different experiences in my daily travels, like in the kitchen or going shopping, or personal reflections of childhood memories, growing up with my cousins, learning to fly a kite, learning to do all kinds of things. So I look at it as my being able to find this outlet to reflect and remember and share my experiences. That's what I use my blogs for.
I see. So tell us a little bit about the books that you've written. Are they all mystery related?
Well, the first set of books that I wrote were not. They were sort of secrets to financial success, untapped wealth, and untapped wealth discovered. And it was all using my entrepreneurial experiences and skills to write these books. But my audio mystery books are simply those of imagination and creativity. And it's all about Detective DJ, who is me, and my imaginary team of crime crushers solving different crimes. But the emphasis here is not on like vivid descriptions of crime and sex. It's all about solving a problem.
Right.
Solving a problem to a crime that has taken place through everyday types of experiences, like jealousy, envy, different things like that. And I've spun them into mysteries. And I've written 2 seasons, which are now posted. A 3rd season I've not posted that as yet. And I've written 12 Days of Christmas box set. I have some ideas to write a second 12 Days of Christmas box set, and two different types of mysteries. One is called Angels Are Around. It's all about telling my readers about kindness stories. And the other one I'm thinking of 30-minute made mysteries, I call it, and you're going to have to wait and see what that's all about.
Fair enough.
Ooh, teasers.
We like teasers.
Yeah.
So are your audiobooks professionally narrated, or do you do them yourself?
I did it myself, and I got someone to produce it. So it's sort of semi-professional. It's not something that is professionally done. I just did it through Studio Recorder.
Right.
And I got my friend to produce it for me, and that's how it is.
And they're available on your website, so how much are they?
Well, I believe It's $24.99 for the entire season, like first season or second season. And you can find them at www.donnajodan.com. Go to the online store. And you can also sign up for a monthly subscription for $4.99 US, and you have unlimited access to download as often as you want, as many as you want.
I think it's pretty amazing too that we haven't even really talked anything about the fact that you are visually impaired and you are doing all this, which is amazing in and of itself. But let's talk a little bit about, say, AT and what kind of assistive technology you use on a daily basis in order to do a lot of this stuff.
Well, I use Supernova screen reader, the Dolphin product. And I chose this product many years ago because of its cost effectiveness. I found that JAWS was too expensive. I really don't approve of the way Freedom Scientific treats people who are vision impaired. Mm-hmm. But I do use JAWS from time to time. I use NVDA, but I mainly use the Supernova screen reader.
I know Ryan I'm sure has some opinions on that.
No, I totally
I'd like
agree.
to hear that.
No, I totally agree. I'm a JAWS user and have been ever since I lost my sight because it was the first technology I was introduced to.
Right.
But at the same time, JAWS is $1,000 product, and NVDA is free.
Yeah.
System Access is a low price screen reader. I'm not sure what the Dolphin products are, but at least nowadays we have a lot more choice. So. Not just one tool will do everything. Sometimes you need more than one. So,
well, and I think that's my sense too. Is that I think that for a long time, Freedom sort of rested on the laurels of they were one of the only major screen readers around, and
right.
They were able to sort of monopolize the market in a sense.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I didn't like that at all.
Yeah,
I find it very irritating. And, I also use the BrailleSense U2. I like it a lot, but I notice that their technology is now becoming a bit ancient because, their platform, I think, was Windows CE.
Yeah.
They have a new
And
note taker now called the Polaris, which is an Android device.
I saw it last week, but it's $7,000.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a premium if you're blind.
What's that?
You pay a premium if you're blind.
I know, but I don't know who sells it in Canada though, because Aroga's gone out of business. Are you guys doing anything like that out there? Are you selling it?
I'm selling the HumanWare products through Canadian Assistive Technologies. I have not talked to HIMS about handling their products at this point.
Okay.
But I believe Frontier is selling it out there.
Well, I was shocked that Aroga went down. I mean,
so were we.
I don't know.
Yeah. We're a little stunned ourselves.
So what are they doing now then?
We're doing this.
Yeah. Well, I've started my own.
The Aroga people in Ontario, have they closed now or?
Yes. Yeah. Everything Aroga Technologies wise is shut down now in the hands of the receivers.
Oh dear.
The Bennett's, who were the majority owners out there, they're, so far as I know, just carrying on with the other companies that they had started.
Which are what?
Well, they started one. Well, there's a bit of a story to it, but the main one that was started first was one called Aroga Holdings Corp, which was supposed to be a public offering, and the idea was to take that public, use the funds to pull in Aroga Technologies under that umbrella, and to start developing products for assistive technology products. That never got listed, but a couple of different companies basically signed themselves over to Grove Bennett for stock, with the idea that once the stock went, if it hit a certain point, they'd clean up and be all happy. Well, now that hasn't happened, it's a lot of unhappy.
Oy, oy.
But the big one that he's working on now is one called, well, it was called OXO Worldwide when he acquired it. That became Aroga Worldwide, and it's now called Aroga's Club.
Which is doing health and discount travel and
nothing assistive
holographic quantum-infused stickers that are supposed to work off of acupuncture principles.
Acupressure.
Acupressure principles? Same thing, I think.
So, hooey.
Sorry, was that out loud, Rob?
This is getting more confusing.
yeah. So Steve Barkley is now your Canadian Assistive Technology rep for Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Owner operator.
So I'm just starting from the ground, starting to build back up, and try and provide a level of support for Aroga customers who have been left in the lurch.
What about other products? Who do I go to? You?
Depends on the product. I've got most of what Aroga had. There's some that I haven't picked up, but the majority I have. So I've got enhanced vision systems, humanware. I can get any of the VFO stuff.
You've got the dolphin stuff, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got some of the dolphin stuff. Just
supernova stuff.
Yeah, just their magnifier and not the screen reader at this point. They're starting me off small.
I see.
What else have I got? I've got the Buzz Clip.
Tell me about the Buzz Clip. Is it? Would you recommend it?
It totally depends on your lifestyle as much as anything, I guess. If I was somebody who was out traveling all the time, and I was in an area where there was a lot of trees hanging around, I'd want one. It just gives you that little bit of warning when you're about to clune your head into something.
Right.
And I think it would also be good in crowd situations where you're in a crowded room with a bunch of people and you're turning around. You don't want to necessarily stick your cane out to get it between people's legs, so it'll at least give you an indication of when there's somebody within 1 meter or 2 meters of you.
The other nice thing about it too is if you're standing there talking to somebody and they leave, you'll know that they've left because it stops vibrating.
Well, that's a good point.
So you're not standing there talking to yourself.
Well, it does have a 7 second cutoff. So if somebody's stationary for 7 seconds, it stops vibrating, so it doesn't keep annoying you. But then I guess if they moved,
it'll shake again.
It would start shaking again. So yeah, you might be able to tell if they're leaving.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
And I'm sorry I keep doing that to you, Ryan.
You,
what
my
else
wife.
Yeah, what's
what's your website, Steve?
www.canasstech.com.
CANASSTECH.com.
CANASSTECH.com. I should go pay to visit and see.
I deliberately left the ass in the middle because I figured people would remember it easier that way because everybody sniggers. It's got ass in it.
Well, I was about to, but I better be nice, Well, okay, so I guess people are going to have to struggle to know where to go to buy what, right?
For now.
Yeah, we're indexing really poorly on Google right now. We're really hard to find. Even if you search for Canadian Assistive Technology, you don't find our website. So
it takes time.
Yeah, so it's going to be a bit of a struggle. But I'm trying to get word out as much as I can. Spread it through as many channels as I can to let people know that they haven't been completely abandoned at least.
It really has left a big hole in the market.
Oh, for sure.
So,
for sure.
So
my goodness. Huh. But I think I'm very much interested in Braille displays, like the mini ones that would enable me to use my iPhone. Like I have a Braille Pen 12,
yep,
which I really like. But it's not as portable as I would like it to be. So someone mentioned is it the Orbit?
Yeah, the Orbit isn't actually been released yet. It was supposed to be out in October, and it's still not been released. I think I'm waiting to get somebody to come on the show and talk about it, but supposedly this summer or fall is what I'm hearing now.
Okay.
But some people have seen it.
And sorry, what is the Orbit?
It's a small, I think, what is it, 20 cell, or I think
20 cell,
yeah.
braille display note taker.
But really inexpensive. It's
like $500.
Great price point.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
$500 versus $7,000. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
the Braille pen was about 12, I think.
Yeah.
That's still
Yeah.
half. That's still pretty
so
impressive.
It's a big step forward.
I wonder if that's what the development delay is. I wonder if they're just.
Well, it's out. Like, they've shown it to people. You know.
Well, those have all been prototypes to this point.
That's
though,
true
I think.
too. Yeah.
I don't think they've been. They don't have production
Nobody
units
sold
at this
it
point.
yet. Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah.
What in general? I'm sorry, Donna. It's what in general makes the devices so expensive? Like what part of it?
Traditionally, it's been every single dot on a Braille display is driven up and down by a 3-layer wafer. So you apply a voltage to one side of it and it bends up. You apply voltage to the other side, it bends down, and then it pushes a pin up and down through a hole. Well, you got to have 8 of them on a Braille display. 6 for the Braille, and then 2 to show things like your cursor, whether something's maybe highlighted or italicized.
Yeah.
And so each one of those elements, each Braille cell with eight of those bimorphs on them, cost. Well, I don't know what it cost to manufacture, but typically retail it was around $100 per cell.
Wow.
So, if you had a 20 cell, you're looking at $2,000 just for the Braille portion. That doesn't include any smarts that you want to build into it as well. That's just for, the cells.
Right.
So yeah, it was really, really expensive. So the Orbit, I guess, is using a different technology for how it's driving the cells up and down, and that may be what's causing the delay, because it may not be working as well as
They hope.
But I don't know that for sure. That's just my speculation at this point.
But there's a lot of people waiting for that one.
Well, sure. I mean, the market needs something a little bit more affordable, because $7,000. Who's going to be able to afford that?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the reason why I like the Braille Sense too was that there was a lot of good things about it. Like, in addition to the Braille display, you had the voice to go along with it. You could record. You had a radio, like all kinds of things. So, if I had to look for something in the future, I'd look for something similar to that. And I don't know if HIMS has any updates to that or not.
Well, the Braille Sense U2 is still around, but at some point they're going to transition everything over to the new Polaris.
What about the is it something called the ET or the EZ? Is that still around?
That was their book reader, the Blaze EZ and the Blaze ET.
Mm-hmm.
That was their Daisy player.
Oh, so there was no Braille display in it?
No.
It had a camera in it that you could use for OCR, but it didn't have a Braille display. I've been expecting the market to drop out on note takers for years. I've been predicting this for years, and every year Ryan goes, "Ha ha, they're still going."
I agree.
I was really surprised when Humanware came out with the Braille Note Touch, the Android version of the Braille Note, because I didn't think anybody was going to invest a bunch of money into a new note taker, and then it took off. It did super well in the U.S. And I think HIMS, if they had been waffling on getting their product out or whether they should put the money into it, probably saw that and pushed theirs out the door. But I think the market might support 1 or 2 of them. I don't think it's going to support 5 or 6. And there's other products that are coming in too. There's European units that are running Windows. There's the one
L-Braille.
Yeah, there's the one Freedom has.
That's the L-Braille.
That's the L-Braille.
Yeah.
No, there's another one from Europe as well. Can't remember the name. Anyway, It doesn't matter. But yeah, I've been predicting that people would just go to off-the-shelf tablets and Bluetooth pairing to a Braille display, because I just don't see what the sense is in tying your Braille to the computer when the computers themselves are evolving so quickly.
Battery life.
What would you recommend if I said I wanted one similar to the Braille Sense U2? Which product would you recommend?
I guess it just depends if you want that same kind of feel to it, where you've got, you know, kind of a main menu sort of concept, and everything branches out from there. I mean, if you're willing to be a little more adventurous with it, you could get either an iPad or an Android tablet and just pair a Bluetooth display to it, and have something that would be, you know, a lot more functional than your U2, for a lot less money.
Yeah, but it really depends on the apps you're going to use. If you need access to Excel spreadsheets or Word documents or, you know, things like that, that's where the power of these note takers can actually work better, because the accessibility is built in.
Yeah, it totally depends on what you're doing.
Well, what I found with the Braille Sense U2 was that I found that it had there were a lot of problems when it came to pairing it with an iPad or an iPhone. It was constantly dropping, you know, like, so I guess what I'm basically looking for is the combination of voice and Braille, just like what the Braille Sense U2 gives me independently.
Right.
You know, so
well, if you didn't
what would you recommend?
My opinion is, if you didn't want to have to relearn an operating system and everything else, all your keyboard commands would be very similar, is I would go with a Polaris. Get the trade-in allowance through HIMS if they have a trade-in program, and go with the Polaris.
Do they have a trade-in program?
They almost certainly do.
But my Braille Sense U2 is about 4 years old.
That usually doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. They haven't really changed in quite a while.
So what would be the difference then? Would you know? I'd have to contact them.
Based on what they used to offer for trade-ins, it's probably somewhere between $1,000 and $1,500 for a trade-in.
Really?
Yeah.
I better contact them tomorrow.
Sorry. Let me clarify that. That's what they would give you as a value for the unit that you have now. That's how much they'd give you off the $7,000 asking price.
Do they have any sort of monthly payment thing? Do you know?
That I don't know.
So is there anything else you wanted to ask me?
Oh, that's right. I guess we were talking.
We were interviewing you, weren't we?
We got but although that's great. I mean, it's actually nice to talk AT, because we haven't actually talked a lot of AT shop talk for a while. So it's kind of nice to get back to that. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that you want to talk about? That any projects that you have upcoming, or that, you know, anything that we haven't actually hit on? Because you know, your bio is so rich with stuff that you've been doing. It's easy for stuff to get buried.
Well, I think that the CNIB is turning 100 years, right?
Yep.
So I'm trying to get on their agenda to host a dinner mystery evening, and I think with me, my dinner mystery evening is very different in the sense that it's full audience participation, right? You get the audience involved in trying to solve the mystery of who did it, and then the audience gets to vote on whether the person is guilty or not, and then they get to vote on the type of sentence that is handed down to the person. Right, so I'm trying to get on their agenda to host one of these things, and I've done a few of them so far. So I'm really looking forward to trying to do that again.
Wonderful. Well, if anyone is actually interested in keeping an eye out for that, where would they go? Would that be featured on your website when you do get it set up, or CNIB's website, or
both? And then I'd probably put it on Facebook as well. So you'll definitely hear about it.
And now, so if someone's looking for you on Facebook, just plugging in your name, then they'll be able to find you?
Author Donna Johdan, or just Donna Johdan. You'll find me in both ways.
And we will, of course, link to your website on our show notes as well.
Site's plural.
Yeah. sterlingcreations.ca and donnajodhan.com are the two sites, yeah.
And barrierfreecanada.org.
Definitely. We just became a not-for-profit organization. We have just set up our board, and we're now moving towards developing our mission statement and revamping our website. So a lot of exciting things coming down there.
And now, what's going to be the goal of Barrier Free Canada? Well,
it's not just about making sure that the legislation is passed. It's way after that, And as we were talking to the minister this afternoon, a lot of organizations say that they are the voice of the people. Well, you're the voice of the people, but do you really understand what the person on the street is all about? We want to make sure that the person on the street understands how to advocate, when to advocate, and what to advocate for. So that is part of our mission, to do that. And, if we have to collaborate with other organizations to do it, so be it. But, organizations love to claim that, we're the voice of the people, but they don't go down to the grassroots to make sure that the person on the street understands what advocacy is all about and how a Canadians with Disabilities Act would help to enrich their lives. So that is part of our mission, and also to help the government to collect data that would enable them to better understand the different trends that are going on and how they could use this data to develop, other programs after the Disabilities Act is enacted.
I want to ask you this question because you just mentioned the Canadians with Disabilities Act. I think I saw that Nova Scotia just passed, I don't know, I guess it's a provincial Disabilities Act. What
Correct.
Is every province going to do their own, or are we going to have a national program?
I think every province is doing their own now. Nova Scotia just passed theirs. Manitoba has not passed theirs, and it all has to do with the present government. I was told they may not be as interested in passing anything, but the people out in Manitoba are going to do their best to ensure that something is passed. And I think you guys are having an election sometime soon?
May 9th.
May 9th. So then it would all depend on which government gets into power, because the different parties are promising different things. And then, as you know, in Ontario with the AODA, they're still fighting very hard to get things done. In Quebec, they don't have anything,
Right.
I would say for Quebec, their government is a lot more progressive when it comes to understanding and accommodating the needs of persons with disabilities, but they don't have a provincial act, as I know.
Right.
And Saskatchewan is just now starting up. Alberta doesn't have anything that we know of. So every province is different.
Yeah, it makes it very confusing.
Do you think some of these larger organizations don't press as hard as they might against the various governments because they're afraid of losing funding from the governments?
Absolutely. They're afraid, so they won't do it. And this is part of our problem too. I had one organization say to us that we don't want to lose government funding, so we're not going to do it. We're not going to support you. So they don't want to support us, and because they're afraid.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
So, yeah.
Because that just gives government a stick to wield against you.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
It's almost
divide and conquer.
Yeah, it's almost like these contracts have to be handled by a arm's length organization rather than directly by the government, so that they can't use that as a threat.
Right. So those are the types of barriers that we face, but I would say, for this government, they're the first government that definitely decided to take a step in the right direction, that they have committed to it. And the minister told us this afternoon that she is hoping to have this legislation tabled by end of year, early next year, and hopefully for it to get through Parliament maybe by middle of next year.
Fingers
now
crossed.
remember, they have to do something before their mandate is up in 2019. If they don't, it could die if they're not reelected. See?
It's really weird to hear somebody say 2019 and realize it's just around the corner.
Wait, it is?
Yeah. It's only 2 and a bit years away.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Blink twice and it's here.
I know.
And I still don't have my flying car.
No, what year did Blade Runner supposedly take place? I don't know. We got to be close to that, right?
Well, you can just go back to 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
Well, that's right. It's true. Well, Donna, you know what? We better let you get some sleep because it sounds like you have a busy day tomorrow. No, we really appreciate you coming on and taking some time and talking with us. This was awesome.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And if ever you wanted to, if you had nothing better to do or had no one else to call on, I'm here.
Okay, wait, fantastic. We'll take you up on that.
Okay.
All right, Donna, take care, and we'll talk to you again.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Thanks again.
Okay, Donna, take care.
Okay,
Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Bye.
See, you guys should feel incredibly guilty at not having the energy of that lady and having as full a plate.
I mean, come on. I'm busy running a company. You know,
Whatever.
what's she
You're
doing?
sitting on
you
the
know?
couch staring at the TV.
Listen,
You got a margarita in one hand and your phone in the other.
I'll have you know I'm level 12 in Fallout 4.
I just finished season 1 of a series of unfortunate events.
Wow.
We have stuff to do,
That's
folks.
right.
Whatever she's taken, give me some of that.
That's right. No, that's
I don't want to
fantastic.
be that energetic.
It felt good to talk a little AT.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting excited there.
Were you?
I'm not going to lie.
Oh. All right. Woo, go AT.
That's right.
Put the AT back in Banter.
Put the banter
Yeah.
with the banter.
Put the AT back in front of Banter. And we have AT.
Banter.
Banter.
Wow, that's like our origin story right there.
It is. Not as cool as a radioactive spider, but I guess we'll take it. Hey, Ryan.
Rob.
Where can people find us?
Steve, where can people find us?
Well,
I'm sure
depends,
delegate.
depends how they're trying.
Subcontracting out now, are you?
That's right.
Because there's options, man. I mean, they could email us at atbanterpodcast@gmail.com.
And incidentally, if you email us, there's probably a pretty good chance we're going to read your email on the air. So
Give you a shout
there
out.
is that. Bribe. Hey, people can also find us on Facebook and Twitter.
We have a website too.
Oh, we do. Where would that be?
That's at www.atbanter.com.
Fan-frickin-tastic.
And we've got an Instagram account that's got nothing but pictures of the Guitar Dungeon on it.
Well, I'm working on it. I don't know.
Obviously not.
Listen, got stuff to do. Like I said, I'm level 12 in Fallout 4. So I hit 20, then I can put some time
Make
into
some time.
Make
Yes.
some time if I'm not fighting super mutants.
Excellent.
What else? I think that's it. Although I have to say, looking at our schedule coming up, I'm kind of excited about a couple of the shows that are
Good.
that we've got in the pipe, so to speak.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah, I think let's talk about the big one coming up is our big 1 year anniversary show.
It is May 22nd.
That's right.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Our 1 year anniversary.
Should we live tweet that one?
we could live tweet that. We could live tweet
There's
it.
a laptop right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could do something like that. Who knows? It's something to look at. Maybe I'll look into that this week, and we can set something up. At the very least, I like the idea of live tweeting. Talking about this
Dave-
episode now.
Steve can do the live tweets.
There you go.
As long as we get a couple ciders in him, apparently that's all he needs to start hitting the tweets.
That's right.
Excellent. We can do that.
But we've got that coming up. We've got what else we got coming up this month? Just to give us a little tease, Ryan. Come on, I know you hate.
We've got a podcaster whose voice many of you out there will know. He's been in the AT industry for a long, long, long time and has also been on different radio programs such as ACB, Main Menu.
Ooh, I know who it is. I
Has
know who
worked
it
for
is.
Humanware, is now working for VFO, and he's from New Zealand. So I'm really excited to have him on the show.
I don't know who this is.
You don't, but everybody else does.
Well, okay, who is it?
His name is Jonathan Mosen.
Oh, cool. I don't know who that is.
Very well respected individual in the
Yep.
AT industry.
Awesome.
He's a guru.
He is. Yeah. And then later in May, we have someone from Google Accessibility joining us.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, we're getting all the big boys now. Now we're almost a year old. We're almost ready for our big boy pants.
I'm ready to retire.
You're
ready to retire.
We're a toddler podcast.
Well, to be honest, I actually didn't think we'd make it a year. Remember, I was skeptical in the beginning.
I know you were.
Yeah, I was like,
I had to talk you off.
What are you talking about? We don't have time to do a podcast.
I know, and here we are, a year old, year in.
Yeah.
We're still doing it.
We are.
We're still doing it in your basement. Did you ever imagine that?
No. I also didn't imagine to be unemployed either.
Well,
So things can change.
Working on it.
I know.
All right. Anyways, all right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us. We've got stuff to do, clearly.
No, we don't.
Well, we're going to go anyways.
The guitar.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening, and we shall see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Ciao. This podcast has been brought to you by Canadian Assistive Technology, providing low vision and blindness solutions across Canada. Find us online at www.canasstech.com. That's CANASSTECH.com, or call us toll free at 1-844-795-8324. For all your assistive technology servicing needs, call Chaos Technical Services at 778-847-6840, or find them online at chaostechnicalservices.com. Music provided by bensound.com.